Hello everyone, my name is Naimesh Bhatt and I'll be presenting the attacks on deep neural networks and the ASR systems, backdoor and phishing with effective solutions in federated learning and device fingerprinting. Starting off with the introduction, so machine learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence, and the deep learning is a subfield of machine learning. And the neural networks make the backbone of deep learning algorithm. So the deep learning algorithm mainly does is object detection. Its application has a wide area and image classification, optical flow estimation, etc. So these are like essential component to the prior term. So starting off, the training of this DNN is prohibitive for the users who are resource limited, and they are unable to collect and annotate a great many training data samples and undertake the exorbitant computation and storage burdens of training. So to solve this, they either outsource a model of training to the cloud service providers like Google Cloud Machine Learning Engine, or download models from the model sharing platforms such as BigMF, Cafe Model Zoo, etc. In the outsourcing scenario, they tend to be untrusted by third party as they lack of expert knowledge and resources. So they usually return with malicious cloud service provider trains and returns backdoor model to the users. It is heavily tagged by the backdoor attacks. So they manipulate both the inputs and the output of the model, where the DNN is usually known for characterized for the input and output characterization of the models. So the injecting backdoors into the model is a common attack that DNN goes through. So here, a novel attack based ATKNN was attention based evasive backdoor attack was determined by the authors here, different from the existing work, which is it sets a trigger mask. This model carefully designs an attention based trigger shape. And it places a trigger in a crucial location, which is at the most significant influence of the prediction results. To make the trigger imposed samples appear more natural, they have also developed a QoE, quality of experience term, into the loss function of the trigger to basically carefully adjust the transparency of the trigger. This is effective in proving the clean data accuracy and evading some model-based defense approaches. This figure shows that the TKNN architecture, where it features an attention-based QoE-aware backdoor attack. It uses attention mechanism to pinpoint the critical region of the image as a trigger mask, introduce a QoE term in trigger generation, and adjust transparency to evade human inspection. So Articanan preserves a success rate of 92.5%, which after the research the authors say, and the original backdoor model is fine-tuned with clean. Next is the automatic speech recognition and speaker recognition system, which is like universal in our daily lives. It has the personal voice assistant to biometric authentication, smart devices, etc., which could be example Alexa or Siri or Auto SDK that allows the user to make credit card payments, online shopping, etc. The figure shows the architecture of the ASR system, where it has four main components, where it is pre-processing, feature extraction, acoustic model, and the language model, whereas the SR system has two phases of enrollment and evaluation. So despite of being the wide application, the excessive use of voice commands in safety critical systems like autonomous driving, biometric identification, etc., it also possesses potential safety hazards. We have introduced the attacks, which are commercial black box speech platforms of cloud APIs and voice control. The authors provide with two unique solution of attacks, where more practical and which deals with rigorous scenarios. The proposed solution is the NIOCM and the OCM, where the NIOCM is considered more rigorous and practical assumption, a non-interactive physical setting where adversary can make no query to the oracle. In Ocam, the target is the commercial speech services that open their APIs to the public, and they assume that the adversary intends to generate AEs against the ASR and SR services without internal knowledge of the target model being black box, right? So for Ocam methodology, the original problem is decomposed into smaller set of problems or sub problems according to selected grouping strategy, and the new offspring is generated from the current solution in each sub problem. So it basically, like, the proposed adversarial attacks has a greater success rate, with Occam being 100% successful in very rigorous conditions and with an average signal to noise ratio of 14.23 decimal, where an Occam is 52% successful with average of 9.65 decibel. Moving further, we have the phishing attack, like which is the most common cyber attack, and it attempts to steal your money or your identity by getting you reveal personal information such as credit card numbers, bank information, or passwords, etc., from the websites that are being legit. So it can be categorized into two main classification, which is blacklist based and reference based solutions. So yeah, the existing phishing detection techniques, such as Google Safe Browsing and OpenFish dynamic blacklist to track reported phishing URLs. In contrast, the classification-based solution trained from a collected phishing data set extracted from given web page and its URL. So reference-based phishing is not so great either, where the screenshots as reference do not perfectly capture the brand intention, or the logos as reference miss to capture the credential taking intention, which like the intention indicating to company owning the web page, or since they contain more irrelevant details like pixel colors, embedded advertisements, etc. So in order to overcome the model proposed here is the fish intention. It does is extract precise fish intention of a web page by visually extracting its brand intention and credential taking intention. It interacts with the web page to confirm the credential taking intention and uses the deep learning vision model to overcome various technical challenges. So it's further, HTML obfuscation is a part of fish intention, where targeting the solution that use various HTML analysis techniques for detecting credential taking intention, an attacker modifies the HTML code of fish intention web page. So the architecture of fish intention is shown here in the figure, where fish intention extracts screenshot layer to detect both its brand and credential taking intention. A non-CRP fish intention further infers the UI elements in order to detect if the page is phishing or no. The fish alert is generated when a web page intends to take the credentials and conveys brand intention of a company, while its domain do not align with the comparing of the baseline. So the fish intention generates like 86.5% of less false rates when compared to the existing detection technique. Further, the federated learning allows multiple clients to collaboratively train a neural network model on their private data without revealing the data. So recently, several targeted poison attacks against FL has been introduced. This attacks inject backdoor into resulting model and allows adversary controlled inputs to be misclassified. So the problem with existing the backdoor defenses is it uses aim to detect and remove the poisonous models, and it limit their impact. The first strategy, model updates differing from the majority, are considered suspicious and excluded from the aggregation. However, the second strategy has drawback that it has not effective against poisonous model updates with high attack impact. So in order to classify the and address this problem, they have proposed DeepSight, a novel filtering approach for mitigation of this backdoor attacks. It is based on three novel techniques that allow to categorize the distribution of data using the train model updates and seek the measure of fingerprinted differences using NN. So these techniques, DeepSight can identify suspicious model updates. It also develop a scheme that accurately cluster model updates and combine the result of both components. So in the first phase in the structure of DeepSight is classification, where it utilizes a novel metric entitled threshold exceeding the training model to label model on suspicious or being legit. The second is clustering, where DeepSight groups model updates such that all the model in the same group have been trained into similar training data sets. And then it uses two additional novel techniques, which is division differences and normalized energy updates, that characterizes of models training data as well as the consign metric. The third step is poisonous cluster identification, which is the last filtering step for labeling and clustering are combined to discriminate the clusters containing poisonous models, and for finally deciding to move further with which model update. Moving forward, we have the device fingerprinting, where it says that browser fingerprinting is a practice of measuring device specific attributes from within a web browser to perform stateless tracking of the internet users of the devices. So it is comprised of hardware and software characteristics of the device in order to identify the device or track the user, its authentication, or basically to alias resolution, which is an internet measurement application. So to find this device fingerprinting, introduced a new method that is based on timing of peripheral input devices, leveraging the difference in ways various to hardware and software components. So they have a dual clock model in this, which is fast reference clock and slow subject clock are compared together to make a single time source. With this model, the instantaneous phase of the subject clock is measured and used to construct a phase image, which is like an embedded in low dimensional feature space using the FPNet, a conventional neural network design to extract the device fingerprint from the instantaneous phase. So the performance evaluated here by the experiments is like 228K device observed in the wild are like takes 2 minutes of typing, and it has an accuracy rate of 87.35% verification, and a population of around 100,000 devices. So this is a basic methodology of device fingerprinting, where the dual clock model enables comparison of two different clocks, and the FPNet is conventional network that embeds phase image into low dimensional feature space. Further, we have the cyber risk intelligence for the mobile devices, where the mobile service providers are like nowadays, after being online after COVID, they are facing various challenges to, particularly in mobile applications, and the defenses are limited to application level protection, etc. And they say that the cyber threat intelligence is been sharing the threat intelligence data since a long time, and they share the knowledge about incident response report, the firewall reports, event logs, emails, DNS logs, etc. So but they face several challenges due to vast amount of threat data sharing, and it becomes difficult to manage to achieve like interoperability and automation. Like another challenge in organization that wouldn't share data cause of existing threats. To solve this challenges, the existing CTI sharing systems has the core idea here is to present a federated learning model of the risk intelligence, and the Fed CRI transforms mobile risk into machine learning models and leverages this machine learning based risk management to evaluate the security risk of mobile devices. So main aim here is to design and develop a cyber risk intelligence system for mobile platforms that concentrates on sharing risk, tackles the discuss challenges of the CTI systems, and particularly CRI concentrates on sharing probabilistic indicators of potential security risks that may or may not result in actual attacks. So basically to prevent the attack before happening. So that's the main motive of this model here. So it has like three stages, we can say, that CRI sharing, then the risk modeling, where develop risk models like for the mobile platforms utilizes deep learning networks and risk indicators, and the overall approach allows to effective detection and modeling of cybersecurity risk on mobile platforms. So yeah, the risk data set together with the industry partner, they collect real world large scale risk data set on which evaluate the 23.8 million users, is what the research about for the authors is, and it provides like 9 different service providers. Coming on to the conclusion we learned in this presentation was to the machine learning, the effective and evasive backdoor attack against the deep neural networks, the how deep neural networks is resistant to the backdoor attacks, and the automatic speech recognition and speaker recognition systems are tend to get on attack easily, and the NIOCOM and OCOM strategies. Also the sharing of intelligence like the federated learning model for the mobile application, and the deep vision based approach of avoiding phishing attacks using the new model that was proposed by the authors here was fish intention. That's all from the presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and the references.